Hello friends, in our previous class we looked into what is social science research and why social science research and how it is different from the quantitative aspects. Qualitative methodologies are having some differences with the quantitative methods that you are discussing in various other lectures, but here we are focusing on two important methods. One is nudge theory that I will be beginning with today. So, when we look into the behavior of human beings are not so rational. They need encouragement or intervention or a nudge to get going and to do what is best for self, society and country at large. So, in this context, now you must be getting an cue that nudge means a motivation factor, a motivating factor, but it is not exactly motivation, but in the similar direction. So, how can we understand nudge? So, without coercion people can be encouraged, because there are rules and regulations, laws, ethical issues, number of such bindings that we have in accepting or rejecting anything in the society, but these nudges are different from these binding factors, but without this coercion it is focusing on the behavioral modification, how to influence the behavior of the people and how to pursue the positive action through these nudges. Nudges focus on that particular aspect. Then nudges are not exactly the mandates, what we need to do or what we should do or what we should not do. It is not explaining all these things, but it is giving you an option that to be encouraged, and people have the freedom to choose among the various options. When I give you the examples in my subsequent slides, so that becomes more clear. So, to begin with, let us be clear in the mind that it is not a mandate and there is encouragement and there is no coercion. Nobody is forcing you to do this or not to do this. Most of the time we get the maybe in the form of legal aspects or the circulars, all these things they bind us in doing or not doing a particular thing, but these nudges are not in that direction. So, there is a scientist Thaler and Sustain, they define these nudges as, by giving an example, putting fruit at eye level in a shop counts as a nudge, but banning junk food does not. In all educational institutions throughout the country, junk foods are banned. So, this is what is the rule of the land. The government has insisted on the institutions to go for banning the junk food. So, that is the legal aspect. But how to overcome this problem? So, by using the nudge. What is that nudge? So, which is motivating factor? So, how to discourage people to purchase or to buy and eat this junk foods is by making them available the healthy foods in the form of fruits or any other thing. So, when that is visible to them and when it is available easily, so their attention is diverted. So, this is what the nudge is doing, this is what the nudge is doing. So, banning it or putting restrictions on it is one part that the institutions are taking up, but the most important part is how we can mend the behavior of the people. So, this is what we are focusing upon. Nudging is basically an act of subtly modifying the environments within which voluntary decisions are made without actually restricting any option. So, this is what I was mentioning about by giving an example. So, when the desired things are available without much hindrances or easily, so that becomes the part of our behavior. But if you start restricting it, so then people develop curiosity why that restriction is there, why I should not go for that. Instead of that, when the desired things are made available to them easily, so their attention is also diverted, because there is a role of communication in case of nudging. What is that? Communicating with the people who have not adopted the desired innovations, may it be the junk food, or may it be any of the habits that we are talking about, or may it be any of the practice in case of agriculture, the technologies that farmers has to modify it, may it be acceptance of the seed or acceptance of the fertilizers or plant protection chemicals or manures, number of such things that comes into the picture. This is what we say, that they are all desired innovations to be adopted by the stakeholders. But when they accept it so easily, so then there must be certain nudges in that. Messages might be used to inform stakeholders about the number of people in the geographic area have adopted this particular behavior. So, this becomes another factor, another dimension of making people motivated, that in this particular village more than 50% have adopted this particular technology, then the remaining 50% of the farmers' attention is drawn towards that, what is this technology adopted by my neighbor. So, then I can also accept it, I can also go with that. So, this is how the nudges work. Then examples of nudges, for example, recently the government of India is focusing on the Swachh Bharat. So, what is that Swachh Bharat? Is there any new employment that it is giving, or is there any new thing that it is giving? Nothing. So, what they are giving? They are giving the message of benefits of the Swachh Bharat is going to benefit, how clean environment is going to benefit you, so that you can overcome the ill effects of unclean surroundings. So, this is what is the focus on Swachh Bharat, so that you can keep your environment, may it be the premises of my institution, my department, my chamber, or my house, or my area, locality, colony, whatever it is. So, if it is clean, so then there will be good hygiene. So, this is what the message that it is giving. The department, the tax departments keep on offering nudges to encourage people to invest in financial instruments such as public provident fund, equity linked saving schemes in place of gold or property. Because if you own gold or any such properties, so the probabilities of stealing that, you always have the fear. But if you involve yourself into any of the financial instruments which are very popular nowadays, so then your money is also growing and it is safe also. So, this is the nudge. Insurance companies also use nudges in the form of by reducing the premiums and covering the risks of maybe accidents or health or various other things, so that they are also encouraging the people to take up the insurances. Then the mutual fund systematic investment plans, so it is one of the very popular aspect by making regular investment as an option. This is also a nudge by the investment institutions or the financial companies, so that your money is also safe and it is also growing. Then why we are focusing on these nudges, why we need to discuss these nudges, and how can we adopt it to the science of extension, that we will be coming to later. People tend to do the things which is very easy, so that their efforts are reduced. So, then they accept it very easily. Then people are in search of the immediate benefits out of that. Whatever the things that I am doing, I should get the benefit as early as possible. But in case of the sciences like agriculture, it has its own gestation period, because the date that you are sowing and the date that you are harvesting, it is almost 90 to 100 days. But in case of financial instruments, so if you invest today, tomorrow you can get the result, maybe it is increasing or maybe it is decreasing. So, they want the immediate payoffs then. So, it is whatever the efforts that what we are doing, it should have the minimum barriers, means less complexities. So, this is what we are searching on continuous basis, and ultimately can get my things by doing nothing. How can I get my things done by doing nothing? So, we are all in search of the most simple ways to achieve many things. So, this is why we are in search of these nudges, because nudge is part of the behavioral economics. So, let us have a look into the principles of behavioral economics, which is the science of human decision making. The first point under these principles of behavioral economics is, there is a cost associated with making any behavioral change. So, how I am looking into that particular cost, whether it is by adopting or accepting something, or changing the existing practice, or by avoiding something which I am doing, all these things involve the cost. So, this is what is the first principle. Then the second one says, very small barriers to program access can make the difference in whether it is successful or not. So, hassle free transactions should be there. For example, in financial sector, if you want to give the example, so for withdrawal of money, in olden days, we used to go to the banks and fill up the forms or go with the check and get one token, stand in a queue. So, when your number comes, so then you will get the money. So, that was very much simplified by using bringing in the debit cards. So, that process was simple. Then people stopped going to the banks for withdrawal of money. Then they started going to the ATM machines, which are having a very good infrastructure by all banks, may it be commercial bank or private banks or all sorts of banks. So, they have very good infrastructure. So, then that was the first reduction in the barrier. So, later in recent development, if you look into, so by introducing this UPI, the process was more simplified. With UPI, even you need not go to the ATM or any of such institutions. By sitting at your place, you can do all these transactions. So, this is what is minimizing the barriers. So, which acts as a nudge, motivating factor. Then people tend to discount the benefits of adopting a behavior when there is delay in receiving the reward. So, in case of legal systems, there is a very popular saying, justice delayed is justice denied. So, if any benefit is also being delayed, people start moving away from those programs, those practices like that. So, because they want immediate rewards or the benefits or the outcomes what they are doing. So, this is another important aspect of behavioral economics. And there are typically many competing choices in every sector, may it be agriculture, may it be finance or may competing choices will come. So, as you move from the best possible choices and it keeps on changing from time to time. So, then you are emerging as the winner. Then the resources needed to change the behavior, including the money, energy, time, health are not unlimited. So, they have their own limitation. So, this is what we need to understand as a principle of behavioral economics. So, how can I maximize the output with these limited resources? So, this is the another principle of behavioral economics. Coming to the characteristics of nudges, it boosts the self control. There are number of this after going through these characteristics, we will be coming to the framework of nudging. So, that is very interesting for all of us to understand. So, the first point is to boost the self control, which helps the individuals to follow through a particular decision, because I am thinking in that direction. So, how can I move ahead in this particular direction? Then it activates the desired behavior, because when I start thinking on that, so I will be moving a step ahead. So, how to do that? So, then when I think in that direction, it is influencing the decision that an individual is indifferent or inattentive to. So far I was not aware of, but now after becoming aware of this particular choice, so now I am moving towards that. Then self imposed nudges, voluntarily adopted by people who wish to enact a behavioral stand that they feel it is very important. So, there are number of options that I have as a farmer, whether I should go for this variety of seed or this variety of seed or the seed given by this company or this institution, number of choices are there, but I adopt a particular thing. For example, if any seed that is coming from Banaras Hindu University, people have the faith, because that is what is the first priority. So, then there are many such institutions, there are many such companies that they are thinking on that direction. So, that is what is your self imposing. Then externally imposed nudges, wherein you need to go for advertisement. Many of the commercial companies or the multinational companies, they come with their advertisement. That is what is externally imposed. Do not require people to voluntarily seek them out, because the companies itself is popularizing that. The next is the mindful nudges, which guide the individuals towards more controlled state and help people to follow through with a behavioral standard that they would like to accomplish, but have trouble in enacting that. Because you need to do certain extra efforts in accepting the mindful nudges, in adopting this mindful nudges. This mindless nudges just opposite of that, which are emotional issues, wherein I accept it very easily, because it is very nearer to my behavioral pattern, my emotions, all these things. Then encouraging nudges facilitate the implementation or continuation of a particular behavior. So that when I am influenced with a particular factor, so I will be continuing with that on a long run. So, that is what is the behavior. Then discouraging nudges hinder or prevent the behavior that is believed to be undesirable, wherein we are trying to avoid the negative aspects and we are moving towards the positive aspects. So, that is what is the discouraging nudges. So, if you look into this nudging framework, so whatever the points that what we discussed there, you will have the clarity here with an example. To begin with, the mindful and encouraging nudge is to simplify the fertilizer calculator. Okay. If you look into the encouraging mindful nudges, which are externally imposed, include like simplifying the fertilizer calculator for precise application. What is this fertilizer calculator? What the farmers are doing right now? Right now, farmers are applying the fertilizers, even though there is a recommendation. For example, in case of weight, maybe for example, we will take it as the 40 kilos of nitrogen. But if you purchase 1 quintal of nitrogen, so it gives 46 kilos of nitrogen, but they are applying 2 bags of 50 kg at a time. It means there is 6 kilos increase in case of nitrogen. But how can I minimize that? By using this fertilizer calculator. Along with that, if I am using DAP, then the calculation of the quantum of fertilizer becomes more difficult. If I have some ready reckoners, which is mindful as well as encouraging, because I need some extra effort, so that I can calculate and I can use it in a very befitting manner. So, that is what is the mindful and encouraging nudges. When we come to the mindful and discouraging nudge, is placing the signs to remind that people not to litter. Means we are discouraging the habit of littering by putting the signboard, so that do not litter it or throw this particular thing there like that in a dustbin only. So, we are discouraging the habit of the people, what they are doing or what they were doing. Then when we come to this mindless nudges, the encouraging factor is advertising is the most advertising that most people are adopting this innovation, because emotionally it is going to touch upon. When majority have done that, I have not done it. So, then I should also go for that. So, this is what is the change that happens within that individual. So, that is why we call it as the mindless and encouraging nudge. So, when I want to popularize my variety, so then I will put an advertisement that more than 60%, more than 70% of the farmers of this village have accepted this. So, then it becomes the motivating factor. Then the mindless discouraging nudge is using the fake speed bumps to discourage the speeding. So, this is also motivating your emotions. When you look at those fake bumps, so you become alert, so that you reduce the speed and our purpose is solved, So, this is how this network works. Then the externally imposed mindful nudges which are encouraging are simplifying the process of agricultural insurance to improve the risk bearing ability. If you look into the number of farmers who are accepting the agricultural insurance is very low, but why it is low? Because there are so many complexities. So, because of that complexities, so they are not accepting that. So, when we simplify that, so that becomes an encouraging factor. As I said, in case of financial withdrawal of the money, so lot of changes that that have happened, because of that the process is simplified. Then the discouraging nudge mindful and discouraging nudge which is externally imposed can be linking farmers to the M-Kisan to discourage visit to the unauthentic sources of information. Because there are many institutions, individuals who are involved in delivering the advisory services. Maybe they are trained or they are having the competent knowledge on the things that what they are doing or not doing, especially the input sellers, the plant protection chemical selling agencies, they are also giving lot of advices. Because of that, farmers are facing lot of issues. So, instead of that, the institutions like the platforms like M-Kisan or any such similar platforms by the institutions are going to simplify this particular procedure, and ultimately we are discouraging them to go to the unauthentic sources. Then externally imposed mindless and encouraging nudges include like the automatically enrolling the farmers for Kisan credit card to encourage loans to the farmers. So, when the government made a decision that whenever farmer takes the loan using Kisan credit card, automatically he has to get the insurance, so that his enrollment becomes very simplified there. So, this is how we are emotionally touching upon the activities of the farmers. Then placing a danger symbol on the commodities with minimum residue levels. So, the color indicates the red or blue or green. Green says that it is safe. So, that becomes the discouraging factor. Red becomes it is very dangerous. So, that I should make the minimum use of that, or if I can avoid that, it is very good. Blue, somewhere it is dangerous, but be cautious about that. So, this kind of message that what we are giving to discourage the factors of excessive use of the chemicals. Then internally imposed nudges include cultivate and maintain the habit of applying farm-made manures in every crop season. So, this is the very age old practice of the farmers, but over a period of time with the introduction of the chemical fertilizers. So, there is a major shift, but now by introducing the organic farming concepts, everyone is focusing on the farm-made manures and the organic methods of cultivation. So, that that should come from the internal behavior of the farmers only who are practicing it. Then the discouraging nudge external which is internally imposed may be avoiding the excess plant protection chemicals, that I should think on my own, because there are so many negative effects on that. So, if I am cultivating vegetables, at least 3 days before harvesting of a particular crop, I should not spray. So, this is what is the discouraging of excess use of chemicals. Then when we come to the mindless nudges which are internally imposed, joining a self-help group just to encourage the saving habits. Automatically, you are motivated to be part of this saving activities. Then mindless and discouraging nudge in case of internally imposed nudges include channeling money into a separate account, so that you can reduce spending. Instead of having only one account, if you can open 2 accounts and one account you are not at all touching. So, that becomes the motivating factor, and you reduce the spending and your savings are safe. This is the study that one of our student conducted on various ICT initiatives and what are the nudges that are operating with this framework that we conducted this study. The results are very encouraging. When we look into the mindful and encouraging nudges in case of A-IDEA introduced by NARM, National Academy of Agriculture Research Management, and Agri Prioritize. So, these are the 2 initiatives that this institution has. So, what are the encouraging nudges there? So, this particular software is prioritizing all the problems that what we are giving them based on its complexities. Then by using this A-IDEA, so it is acting as a lab for trying the ideas. Then very easy access to networking. Then seed capital support is also given to the budding entrepreneurs. So, these are the encouraging factors. So, then by introducing an app for marketing by Indian Institute of Millet Research in Hyderabad. So, they are promoting the secondary agriculture. What they are discouraging in this is only production activity. In addition to production, you should take up marketing on with equal importance. So, this is how this app is working. When we look into the internally imposed nudges, like using traditional ICTs, phone in or radio program, which is toll free call, and they are getting the quick response from the experts of the university. WhatsApp is another initiative of Professor Jaishankar, Telangana State Agriculture University of Hyderabad. So, what they are doing? They are giving instant solution using this WhatsApp, and ultimately they are discouraging the procrastination habit of the farmers. Otherwise, I would have thought that tomorrow I will go to university or somewhere else to get the information, but by using WhatsApp, I am getting it instantly. The MOOCs introduced by NARM again, so which are very used by the users very emotionally, using it as an educational hand-holding tool, and because you can use it synchronous or asynchronous mode, then it nurtures the hidden potential. All these factors are there. Then the Indian Institute of Millet Research has another program of linking the farmers with the market with their portal of IIMR, so that they are discouraging the distress selling of the millets, especially the millets in the throughout the country. Then the social media platforms of Professor Jaishankar, Telangana State Agriculture University are definitely serving the society in a very big manner. Then the YouTube platform of the same university is acting as an ocean of information for the benefit of farmers. In the similar way, Raita Bandhu scheme, which is the initiative of Government of Telangana. So, the mindful nudges of this Raita Bandhu scheme include the adequate amount is being transferred to the farmers, inclusivity, everyone is part of this program, then timely payment, that is motivating the farmers, and phone based monitoring of all the activities of the registered farmers. So, these are very, very interesting. When we look into the externally imposed and discouraging nudges, taking loan from others apart from the institutional sources, then option to opt out of the scheme whenever you want. So, that is another important aspect. The mindless and encouraging nudges, if you look at this Raita Bandhu scheme, is direct benefit transfer, then crop booking, land resources, all these things are very, very easily available, and no additional charges. That is another important motivating factor for the farmers. Let us come to some of the limitations of this nudge theory. Ethical concerns are obviously there, because nudges can be perceived as manipulative, raising questions about the autonomy and informed consent of the respondent. So, this is one of the important thing. Then limited scope, nudges are typically effective for simple and one-time decisions, but it may or may not work in the long run. So, that is another limitation that what we need to keep in the mind. And context dependency is another important aspect, because every nudge works on a particular issue. So, we have discussed so many related issues. So, that is another thing. Sustainability of these nudges may lead to the short term changes, but their impact can diminish over time. So, if I am motivating the farmer to reduce the use of chemical, so how long it can work? For one season or two seasons, next season may demand something. So, there I need to search for some more nudges for that. Then unintended consequences may also be there, like behavioral changes, unexpected behavioral changes that may emerge as one of the challenging factor. Then measurement of these challenges is very difficult in case of nudges, because the changes in behavior may result from multiple factors, not only because of these nudges. Whatever the changes that what we are observing, it is not only because of this nudge, there may be other factors which are concerned. Then over reliance on nudge may lead to focusing too heavily on nudges, so that it may lead to neglecting other important strategies that otherwise I would have focused upon, because that may or may not work at certain point of time. Then whenever we want to change, always there will be resistance for change. Individuals or organizations may resist nudges if they feel that their autonomy is being hampered or compromised. So, these are some of the challenges. Then what are the benefits of that? Preservation of choice, because I am getting additional choices and for making my decision. Cost effective, because it is saving us my time, my resources, my energy, everything. Then behavioral insights that I am getting out of these nudges. Nudges leverage insights from behavioral economics and psychology, both are coming together here, economics and psychology, to align with the natural human tendencies, so that I can take the better decisions and I can adopt the desired behavioral changes. Then simplicity and ease is another feature of this important benefit of nudge. Nudges often involve simple changes to the environment or presentation of choices, making them easy to implement and understand. So, that is another beauty of it. Then flexibility, they are very much flexible, because as the time changes, as the technology changes, we keep on tailoring the new nudges, new set of nudges. Then encouragement of positive behavior is more emphasized in case of nudges. So, this is what in all the examples we have observed this. Then because of this, the changes in the society are incremental in nature. So, this is what is the common observation that what we have so far. Then because of that, so resistance has also reduced, because people started perceiving it in a positive manner because of these nudges. Then this can be scaled up to any extent. For example, Swachh Bharat has become a movement throughout the country, and UPI has become a movement of the entire country, and at the same time many countries are asking for the UPI formats in their countries. So, this is what is the scalability. Then you can take the better decision, your decision making abilities are enhanced by using these factors of nudges. So, to conclude, what I would like to share with you is, so there are different types of nudges which are basically motivating an individual without any coercion. There is no force, but they are meant for changing the behavior of the individual. They are meant for changing the behavior of individual, which have long lasting impact on the enterprises, the initiatives or the farming practices, or as a student if I take it my own behavioral modification, it has long lasting impacts on our behavioral patterns. So, that is why identifying nudges is one of the important factor. After identifying, how to make the best use of that in my own decision making or in my own personal as well as professional life is another important factor. So, just to reach to that particular point, I have given you some of the examples, so that you can think in that direction. It is only indicative in nature, and you can also come out with the identification of such nudges, and you can take it as a part of your research, so that you can say that authentically after conducting this study. So, these are the things that emerged out of this study, so that that program or the event or the problem under study can be improvised. Thank you.